Oh.
You guys okay if I open it? It's like really hot in here.
So sent a couple.
Did you put that other one on you?
Not yet. No, sorry.
I was
no.
like, did I miss that?
Okay, no.
No.
I'll send a link to the Facebook group. Yeah.
Just yeah. Didn't have much.
Alright, how's everybody doing? Perfect. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's good. Just.
Because quiz and the midterm not come yet, so I'm perfect.
Nice. Okay, but maybe after.
Yeah.
If you do really well, then you'd be great. And then if you do bad, then
Is that next week, the quiz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tuesday. Okay,
Yeah.
next back. Okay.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Good. Just sending you guys everything. I'm good. I think I didn't finish chapter 3, so I'm a little disappointed in myself, but it was a lot. I went through I don't know, for some reason I really focused on the photos that were in the script, and I'm a super techie person. Like, I do side jobs building websites and stuff.
Nice.
So I literally just threw the photos into a slideshow and I was starting to look at some music, but I hadn't applied any of it to it yet. So I figured we could start going on that, which I found is interesting that you focused more on costumes. Like, we didn't choose the same things to think about. And I do have a couple ideas on some of the scenes, but I got a little bit stuck on the space one. Like, I didn't know how we wanted to
Okay.
portray that functioning. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
I like that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just now sort of just getting it, it's coming into focus because, our mission is to complete the project, but it's also, like she's talking about, to analyze the whole process of what's going on and incorporating that, like looking at yourself, and then portray that looking at yourself, looking at yourself in some kind of presentation. And I think that is coming into focus a bit for me because at first I was like, well, here's an idea, but is that what she wants? And it's like, she does, but she doesn't. She wants that, yes, theories and ideas and concepts, but she also wants the essence of the process for the individual and the group. And it's like, okay, that is going to be where you guys come in to sort of bring that to life, right? And it's exciting for me to sort of, because that's not my area at all. Like technical, like logical, like educational stuff and all that academia is not my strength. So I'm relying on you guys a little.
We got you.
Good. I was kind of actually thinking about music too. So
Oh, cool.
I have some ideas for some songs. A lot of it kind of like, I was thinking of just like movies I thought of like in those like time periods and like all the theme songs from them. Like the Dawn Time was like Jurassic Park. That sounds good. But I don't know. I have like a few different kind of ideas for some music, so we can talk about that today.
Yeah.
I want to bring this up. Last time we were in here, I kind of got like taken aback by it a little bit. When I was in ED 417, there was the option to do counseling instead of writing a paper. So you'd work with graduate students and like be a client for them, and they were a counselor, and they were actually held in these rooms. So like a lot of my feelings from that kind of came back when I stepped into here. So like if I'm ever like a little off, it's because it kind of reminds me of it, but like I'm totally okay. But I'm just saying, if I ever feel like I'm like, oh, like they kind of trigger this, like being in the exact same room, like bring up all the old feelings and stuff. So that's kind of like.
Would you prefer to meet elsewhere?
No, like I'm fine with it. Like it's like I'm like definitely moved on from it, so it's good. It was just like kind of like first coming back here, I was like, whoa, this is like kind of like remember things that I kind of forgot about. So.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
Of course.
And like if you do ever feel like it's a little weird or you just need to take a step back, like yeah, we're here for you.
I really appreciate it. I just want to let you guys know if you're like, why is she all like weird today? Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm doing well. I also did some thinking about it. It was more just like wrote down ideas. It wasn't like very structured. Yeah, my kind of like the same what kind of a similar reflection that Drew was having, which is that like I think I finally understand, like before, like yes, the task is to make a skit, but then I'm kind of realizing too that like some of the experience has to be lived before we can integrate it. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like integrating the process in your own. Like you kind of can't rush that stuff. So I was kind of like that. Just kind of came into my mind today that it's like about the like living the process and really thinking about it. And I'm good. Like personally, I think that so I just moved here, as you guys know, and it's been like not a rough transition, but just a transition. You know, like all transitions are a little rough, and I think that this week was the first week I was feeling like I'm on the other side of that. Like I'm no longer in the transition, and now I'm just like living my life. So I'm feeling a lot. Yeah, it is good, and so I'm feeling like a lot more stable. And like more, I've got like a little bit of a routine. I'm not a super routine person, but anyway, I'm just feeling like a lot more settled now. Whereas before I was like, everything's so new. Like I was always getting lost, and I was just like, I have no friends, and I'm just like, this sucks. But now I'm like on the other side of it, and I'm like feeling pretty good. Yeah.
Kat, where are you from again? I can't remember.
I'm originally from Ontario, but I just moved here from Whitehorse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in Whitehorse for almost 5 years, like 4.5 years.
So it's been like the sun like for days and weeks right now.
Yeah, all sun all summer, and then dark all winter.
Just fast and nothing, a little bit of in between, and then.
Yeah, a little bit of in between. It's a very like bipolar place. Like it's like the winter's very cold and private and quiet and dark, and then the summer's just like tons of energy and you're like taking on lots. So
Yeah.
I just couldn't sustain it any longer. It was an exhausting place to live. So
How was it? Oh.
yeah.
How did you end up there?
Just like a series of
I was gonna say,
of choices.
Yeah. Isn't that how it all
Yes. I was in Toronto for school, and then I stayed and worked, and then my partner at the time and I went traveling for like 2 years, and then during that 2 years of traveling, we were like, okay, do we want to go back to our lives in Toronto, or do we want to just like start something fresh and new? And we decided on fresh and new, and we looked for jobs in like all of Northern Canada, and then Whitehorse was the first place where we both got jobs, so we just moved there.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
he stayed for like almost a year, and then we broke up. Whitehorse also breaks people up. Anyone who moves there together
The bipolar.
doesn't stay together.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
But
man.
so yeah, this is a bit of my life story. But anyway, so
We want it.
so I ended up staying for like 4 years, and then I met my current partner up there, and he loves Victoria. And the whole time he was up there taking care of his parents who were quite sick. Yeah, so he never really wanted to live in Whitehorse. My partner, he lived in Vancouver for like 15 years, but he just kind of found himself in Whitehorse because his mom had a stroke and his dad is kind of end stages of his life, and so he's taking care of his parents, and I met him taking care of his parents, and yeah, so then we moved here together just 2 months ago. Whatever, 2 months ago. So I'm feeling like way more settled in Victoria, and I'm feeling good with our choice to move here. Yeah,
Good.
yeah,
That's awesome.
as of this week. As of right now, yeah.
One of my friends, she's from Faro.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think she's living in Whitehorse right now.
Yeah.
But she was here for school for a while.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Farrell's really like, Farrell's like an extra rural part.
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said like everyone in the town knew each other and you'd know the gossip. And,
Oh,
she'd
yeah.
like walk down the street and they'd be like, oh, I talked to your mom yesterday and like don't go out drinking and like
Oh, yeah.
all everyone's up in everyone's business.
I can imagine growing up in a place like that. It's really small.
Yeah. I'm doing pretty good school-wise. Just, stressed as per usual. I just actually, my dad just texted me and my aunt's dad just passed away this morning, unfortunately. I didn't really know him, but I just kind of like feel for her and, brings up lots of other stuff of grandparents and passing away just really personally, yesterday when we were talking about in class about those, it was like the goals that you want to work on or something, and that got me really like worked up and like anxious. I think I sort of mentioned it, and because there's like some people in my life right now that I'm sort of having to like confront about things and like wrestle with maybe forgiving them about things, but like I don't know if I want to or like what's going on there, and sort of feel a little bit in limbo right now because my parents ended up sending a message to them because they were initially going to meet, but now no one wants to like speak face to face, and so now they like sent a message saying like, okay, well, if you want to tell your side of the story, then please do, but we don't want to like see you, so just like write an email or something. So now I'm kind of just like constantly waiting for that email to come in, like so I'm like super nervous. Not that like I didn't do anything wrong, it was all them, but it's still like sketchy to be on edge and like, okay, when's that gonna come, and like what are they gonna say, and but all in all, you know, got a good group, got a supportive family. My boyfriend came and surprised me the other day, which is really nice. Yeah, it was. That's my reaction too. He's living in Vancouver right now, so it's not really long distance, but we're both really busy, so I hadn't like seen him in a month basically. So he came for a night and then just had to leave this morning, so wasn't feeling super great this morning, especially talking about goodbyes in class.
Oh my
God. I was like, no! I'm so bad at them. But no, I'm like, you know, just chatting about it and it's good.
Good.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. You're in like a roller coaster right now.
Yeah, honestly, that's how I feel. It's like, there's been a lot of extreme emotions on like either end of the scale where like, you know, he'll show up, be really happy, you know, gotta get work done, but like, yeah, I can still hang out, like sit on the couch with me and I'll work. And then like, oh no, goodbye, and oh, grandpa's dead, and oh, like, like it's not my grandpa, but it's still like, yeah, it's just very, it's like, really happy, and then like, oh, that's really shitty, and then like, oh, really stressed, and then so I'm just trying to like balance things out, and like, okay, I'll do this today, I'll do that tomorrow, and yeah,
One step at a time.
so, exactly,
Yeah.
trying,
That's all you can do.
yeah, but, yeah, thanks guys,
Absolutely. Is everybody feeling good?
yeah,
Do we want to go around and like see what everybody's doing with the project?
sure, yeah,
I'll start with me because I wrote that extra scene for the today one.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
And I just added pictures, again, just for like, you saw that? Did you see that? No.
Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah.
did see it.
Yeah, I just added, just as like, you know, here's a saloon, here's a space station, here's present day back alley. Like, there's a couple in there that I really find very stylistic and neat and interesting. I think it's
I really liked them.
the tone that we have to take is sort of something we'll figure out. That'll come to it as well. But I'm excited to sort of have the framework and ideas and ready to sort of, you know, hear the powerful youth here take charge of how it's going to evolve. And I'm more here to just be passive and help with succeeding as a group. So I'm not sort of going to be, I don't feel like I want to just stand up and start going, okay, now we want to do this, then direct it. Like, it's like we were talking about this morning, the organic shifting of so-called leadership is something I'm looking forward to.
Couple things. Did you send that? Or?
It's just part of, so that document have you clicked?
I think I'm on like the different email. Mine's just an attachment.
Oh no, it's what is it called? It's like
It's
Google Docs.
Google Docs.
Google Docs.
So I'll send it to you
And
again.
it's always, you saved
So
it
it's
as
on,
a doc.
it's a document that you can all just,
I think
you can
I
edit
downloaded
at
it
any
in
time you
my-
want. Like,
I
that's-
don't have editing power. I can only view it, so you
Oh,
may
really?
have to change that on the document.
Oh,
I sent a request to you this morning asking if I could edit it, so you'll see
I'll
it.
see it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that technical, let me
Because mine
know.
Yeah.
downloaded.
Because I don't know
Great
the
things on
You can edit it?
Yeah,
Okay.
so
This is
maybe
like
it was
the
just a
user.
different like sending of like a
I
invite
shared it
or
with
something.
Yeah.
Did I just share it with you maybe and then just sent you the link or something?
Something like that,
Anyway.
yeah.
Maybe.
There's a music link in there. You can't open it, I don't think, because it's through my Spotify. So I don't know. It's just, again, all of that is just for like to inspire and to get a flavor and tone and stuff like that. You know, I just put in like very odd, like what did I put in? Pseudo. And what came up on Pseudo was a couple of songs, and I was like, we'll pick that one.
Yeah.
That's all I did. So
Yeah.
it's just like some kind of tying it all together.
Nice.
No, it was good. It was nice to see the visuals
Yeah.
and like kind of put it together in my
Exactly.
head. Yeah,
Mhm.
I really like that.
And that will create our scene, just a picture on the screen.
Yeah, we don't need much else.
Keep it very
Yeah.
simple. I mean, they'll get the gist of it. And title.
Mhm.
I like the title. I mean, if we can use that sort of, the dawn of time, Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
I know, I was reading those and they're so specific.
So it could be like this. I know, it's like.
I loved it.
That's funny.
But it'd be fun to put titles into it. Anyway,
I was kind of thinking in the beginning to like kind of like start off the project. We should like kind of introduce like it's like the evolution of the group process and evolution of time together. So like when I first read it, I was kind of confused. So if we just present it, people might be like, oh, and not get it until the end. So if we kind of lay it out at the beginning, we might understand it as we go
Sure.
through it.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So just as are we taking notes? So I guess we have the video, don't we? But as far as any specifics that we sort of like.
Yeah. I think we can add some to. Can that be like a working?
Yeah, totally.
Or do you want to add
I had a similar thought as Courtney, which is like just having like a really clear like opening little Digger Dan
Yeah.
kind of monologue that sets it up, because it also kind of feels like it might be confusing that it's an evolution of the same group, which is not the case. It's like snippets
The
of
evolution.
time.
It's just, and it's only that sort of motif.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just that sort of genre that
Yeah.
we're doing is flash through time. It reminds me of the Flintstones, which is what I got it from. Because one time the Flintstones, do you know that cartoon?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you do, but the Flintstones is a funny cartoon that I used to watch when I was little.
Do you know the Flintstones?
The Flintstones, Fred Flintstones, Yabba Dabba Doo, no. Anyway,
I think I know.
Yeah.
What is it?
Flintstones?
but this one time he travels through time as a time machine. And he pops up in these different
Pops up. Yeah, exactly.
I've seen that episode.
ST?
ONES. They're like,
prehistoric.
yeah, they have a dinosaur.
Farm and they walk.
It doesn't matter to know it or anything.
Yeah, it's just.
It's just a time travel is, I love time travel. It's
Yeah.
one thing. I love time travel movies. I
I do
love
too.
the idea of time traveling.
It's not all
And,
about fire.
Like once I understood like what we're like the actual time travel and then tying to the group.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is a great idea, this is amazing, but at first I was just kind of confused about it, so I think just
Right.
very clear, like, opening my...
Yeah.
Do you think we should have like a narrator, or
Um,
where it's like it's the dawn of time, and or like
well, they'll
Diggy
say
Dan
on the
is,
screen, like you can, honestly, I think people are very savvy to media and to films and
Yeah.
to, this doesn't take much to make a connection. A picture of primordial Earth, a title, The Dawn of Time,
Yeah.
2 p.m. or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you guys will be, performing and speaking and saying, caution yourselves on not entertaining your ideas that are very complex and although cool and sort of wow, it becomes difficult to execute.
Right.
So keeping a very simple approach the complexities will come out of it anyway. It will become complicated no matter how simple it is.
Yeah.
What if, and this shouldn't be like too much more complicated, but just as like an added thing, instead of a picture, we had sort of like a background video scene?
I was thinking that too.
Oh,
It
how
might be
great.
difficult for some, like
Maybe.
With the sound off, you mean just something in the
yeah,
background?
like the
Or like-
grassland, like maybe the grass is just moving.
Yeah, or like jungle noises
Yeah.
or something.
Well, sorry, we're
or-
going to have to create these separate elements. So we've got props, music, and visuals, right?
Yeah.
So the elements in there are going to be music and sound effects or sounds. Like if you want to have that sort of thing,
Yeah.
that interlay will have to be sort of, will
Even if you can
create.
get like a GIF or something on repeat,
Sure.
and then like
Yeah.
music over it, maybe, just
Well, I was
so it's like
thinking
a
of creating
little.
a timeline that we could start, stop, push this pause button, push it again, and it just is a little movie that fits the length, but we can control the time of it just by pushing the space bar.
Right.
So that we can, the next scene is ready, you guys exit, I push the space bar, the next scene changes, the sound effects come up, the music comes up. It will fade out naturally. When it does, I'll push pause and you guys will enter.
Yeah.
If you want sound effects during that, then I will just not push pause and we'll have the sound effects going or the music in behind lower. But I can mix all that iMovie really easy.
Okay.
So it should be fine if I can use your laptop.
We could, yeah, sure. We could do like in between scenes, you know, like a video of like a wormhole, and we can all like pretend we're like and then we like land
So we
in the
play
next
that
scene.
between each one.
Yeah,
Like the actual traveling through time.
yeah. I like that might like help connect it maybe.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Oh, and then the other thing you were saying was like, is it the same group or is it different groups? Because I had an idea for, and I don't know like how it would work, but it just to like maybe keep the costumes simpler.
Yeah.
Is just maybe like we could all be in space-ish outfits.
Just thought upscale casual, like upscale nice, like something you might wear out to a club at night where you look good and you're all out little nice looking, like, and that's it. And then any added thing would be like prehistoric time, maybe you put a bone in your, like one of those.
Okay.
You just add like an obvious little element to your costume.
Okay.
But that ultimately you're going to remain looking really good and cool and hip, because that's how I see you. So really cool and hip people.
That's great. I'm happy.
Especially you. What, Riley? You're so cool and hip, like you know, fashionable and stylish.
Wow idea. And I asked you guys before, like dance.
Oh yeah, okay, tell us.
Dance. Because this part, the stage 4, and it's also performing. And at that part, we should, you know, increase interdependence and show we, you know, cooperate well.
Yeah.
And I think dance is very good way, you know. We don't even need to talk, we're like, and awesome. And it's also like a gang dance.
Yeah.
And have music, and we don't really worry about music. We worry about what we're gonna talk, and we just dance.
Okay.
Cool.
And we will not. It's kind of easy, like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then we can talk. And before, I think you said we separate for like 2 gang, and then work together.
Right.
And I think we can like 3 of them.
We could. It could be like a dance battle.
Yeah.
But then be like,
Just-
wait a minute, guys.
And then they all
Don't you
come
think we'll
together.
win if we combine forces? And then we like dance together, and they're all like, and like. But I don't have any dancing skills, so.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, I would suggest keeping it to like you're saying, like more hip hop, simple hip hop
Very
moves.
simple.
Easy
Simple
hip
It's,
hip-hop.
yeah, it's simple.
Yeah, simple hip hop moves, but like
Yeah.
something that, like you say, 2 gangs come together and, you know, one's doing, you know, something simple like this, and they're just doing this, and then the
This
other
is
ones are like,
crazy.
Yeah.
they're doing this or whatever, and then they're like,
Someone else could do the Macarena.
or there's somebody can choreograph something, and then they play the Macarena. Sure, okay.
What we could do for costumes for that is kind of like this rival thought, like if when someone had like, you know, like games with their bandanas or whatever, have like blue and red and like one together, like throw off, like put like white ones on or something, like so it's like a
Yeah.
color.
So that you become
Or
like,
a purple one.
Yeah, like just like 2 different colors and all having the same color, kind of shows like you're together now.
kind
Yeah.
of like a dance troupe.
Okay.
And have a video.
Oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
excited.
Oh, it just got me in the purple.
You're all caught up in purple. You can see.
I really like purple now.
Let me see.
I think this is kind of like easy and
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's very
lazy and
A little bit lazy.
yeah, this kind of setup. It's really easy.
We could do it like them too, like one person starts and then another person
Yeah.
joins,
Joins
another
in.
person joins another, and then all of a sudden we're dancing together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like two party be together.
This is effective!
And I try to keep up, but I can't. I'm like, "Oh, look at that group. Okay.
I like that. How do I work my way in there? That's awesome.
Not
Okay.
just for the boardroom.
Pardon?
Well, sorry, it's what he says. It's not just for the boardroom.
Oh, yeah.
In the alley.
Um,
Thank you. That was wicked.
Yeah.
I love that. Anything that gives the essence, or anything that you can just sort of start to feel how it's going to sort of pictures, sounds, video, anything that
Yeah.
stimulates is so.
And I guess we're kind of like it's fair to say that not just for dancing but for all of them, we're kind of relying on Digger and Dan to like explicitly say the theories that we see, right? Like
And only only in the basics of it.
okay.
So now this is where the essence of our group process experience
Yeah.
comes into the scene. For you, it's I don't want to speak, I want to dance. You know, for somebody else, it could be I want to now talk to the audience and tell them
Right.
something important about this group, a sidebar. You know, boom, everyone freezes and that person talks to the audience. Notice my group. You like how we work together? That's because da 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 da. At first it was.
Oh,
But
okay.
then it happened like this. And then it goes back to like something, so whatever it is for you guys, for you and your expression of your experience within the group, I think is going to be so exciting and so unique and stuff. But yes, to answer your question, I'll be as much information as you want me to parlay. So far that's what I'm parlaying is what it is and where they're at. Sort of exemplifying these types of groups and what they're going through at this time. If you
Yeah.
want me to embellish because of something you've written,
Yeah.
that now because you're showing some dynamic within the group and your experience of your group, I guess, for you, that might be something Digger Dan says, or somebody else says, or something you do, or something you
Yeah.
present, or something you want to have musically. So that's the evolution of this.
Yeah, I think that could be a really good idea and good for you to do, Riley, if you want to. Because if we all sort of take on one to be in charge of, if you initially maybe aren't talkative too much in the first 3 stages, but then this one, you're like, guys, what's one thing that brings everybody together? And then you're like, I don't want to talk, I want to dance. And then you start dancing and we'll be like, okay, yeah. And then like start joining.
I actually want to show what I developed through this stage. Before this first stage and second stage, I won't talk too much. I want to talk, but no.
Yeah.
And as long as we work together, like stage 3 and stage 4, I will talk like more and more. And stage 4, I'm like, this is my stage now, huh? And show development and
That's
work
perfect.
together.
Awesome. Yeah. That's perfect. That'll work really well, I think.
Yeah.
Nice job.
That's great.
Yeah.
There you go.
You're good. You're set.
There we go. And that's going to be in the today scene in the alleyway. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So dance routine, Riley.
Yeah, Riley.
And you're good to choreograph?
What?
You're good to lead and teach us the dance?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Just simple.
Yeah. Very simple.
Yeah. Please don't
Very
do it
simple.
hard.
Very simple.
I was
You do
gonna
this
say,
here?
I
A little bit of this?
super into the dance idea. I just not be very involved. I went through a really bad car accident a year ago, and so I'm always on a ton of meds, and I'm going through a lawsuit, and it's a whole big thing.
Oh my
And
God.
I just had a CT scan yesterday, so I'm not allowed to do much physically.
Oh.
I love dancing, and I'm super here for it. I just not be the
You won't
best
make it.
help.
Maybe we won't do it as
Yeah, as
Will you
long
be
as
able
it's-
to dance?
I can like move my arms and stuff. It's my back and my neck. Yeah, that's my big issue. So I'll do what I can. I just might not be the most involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
The spirit is there. Right?
Yeah, I'm
The
super
spirit
here
is
for
there.
it. Yeah,
Totally. Yeah,
yeah.
you just
That's
tell us
fine.
like what you can and
Yeah,
can't do.
absolutely. Yeah, but I love that idea. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice. The the costume thing, this may not be like a good idea at all, but I'll say it anyways because I was thinking like, so what if we all were like dressed as space people or aliens or something, something to do with the final space station.
Right? Oh, not so more like a Star Trek scene where we're like we've now
Yeah.
explored the universe and
Yeah,
There's
but then
other-
we wear those costumes throughout. So like we're dressed in space stuff because we're like time travelers, and we start in the dawn of time, and maybe we like can't physically like talk like you were saying the other day, or something. The video's playing in the background, and we're like, what the fuck, like, or something.
so
Just so like
travelers
groups
from
not
the future
working
go
out.
back in time, but with every time they're in, they are only limited to the abilities of that time.
Not necessarily, but just like we can figure out the uniquenesses of each
Yeah,
era.
yeah,
But I'm
sure,
just
sure.
saying like that, and then you go to the next one, and it could be the 50,000 years ago. Like we have all this technology, guys, but like we can't use it. This isn't the right time, and like it's not an effective group yet. And then you gotta like
Ah.
today, so it's like physically we can move and we're performing well together, but we still don't like feel comfortable and at home. And then we get back to our space station, we're like, okay, like this is what it feels like to be a group or something.
So it's like all leading up to.
Yeah, so it's like our transition. So like we are supposed to ultimately, as like space people, end up
So
at our
you-
space station
you're-
again
the
as
group
a
is
functional
evolving.
group.
I see. It's going,
How we change the costume? Do you
Um, I don't know yet, but
well,
but
maybe-
no. Oh, to change it?
Yeah.
Oh, we wouldn't have to change it if we did the space one. Then we just stay in space outfit.
We travel through time wearing the same outfit.
Does that make sense? No.
So originally, we all started in the future at the space
Yes,
time.
yes.
And then we traveled back in time. And when we traveled back in time, we still look the same.
Yeah.
And but the dynamic of the group isn't there yet because you're back in time. So you're like a pseudo group, not really working well together.
Or
And they're
just like you're really.
ah,
Yeah,
you can't do it,
angry,
can't get it,
and
you're
you're
not
like-
talking, somebody tries to take control, everyone like, just get the hell out of here. Ah,
We need to get back to
And
our
then you're like-
station. And like.
travel through time.
Yeah.
We landed 50,000 years ago, we're a traditional group in the storming phase,
Yeah.
and this is how we react to each other and do and be and be, and then travel through time.
Land
I like
in the
that.
like Wild West and be like, hey guys,
So
like we
travelers-
need money, so,
so-
we're gonna rob a bank or like
Okay,
whatever.
so
else.
being dressed futuristic.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't mind that. That's-
I like that. It's
And that's
brings
that
it
that
together.
leaves the costuming just,
Super simple. We
whatever
don't
it
have to
is. I mean,
change.
whatever that means, spacey for you,
Yeah.
modern, futuristic. You want to be a little bit of
You
a
could be in it, yeah, you could put like antennas on you.
little
like,
antennas or something that's your character. We don't have to explain it to anybody.
Yeah.
This is just part of our. This is the show. Watch the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could dress up as a UFO.
As UFO. But for dance, I really wanna, we dress black colors, clothes.
Do you- do
Whatever
you
it
want-
means for you. I think is that what you're saying, Bryn? Like something futuristically that's unique to you that you'd like to wear, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess
Imagine, like,
I know what
space
I'm wearing.
future.
so-
Yeah, you're fine. You're good.
I have to figure that out.
I'm like kind of like my own kind of passion is like makeup and stuff. I have a lot of like glitter stuff. I kind of like make like alien.
Girl.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I don't want to be I'm gonna be an alien.
You could be an alien dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could want.
Yeah. I think I picture you as like the guide for our audience to like kind of explain what's happening, which is us like traveling through time. I don't think it would be too bad if you were also like a spacey future dog, like speaking dog. I don't know.
You want to
Talking
talk
dogs.
about do it.
Yeah. I like it. I'll get all glittery.
Oh yeah.
I'm picturing like intergalactic, like spacey.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so intergalactic space outfits. That's who we are, traveling from the future
And I
to the
like that.
past.
I know you just did that, like woo, traveling, but I think that would totally work too.
Yeah, well, like you were saying on the
stumbling
screen, it
through
could be like a GIF or something that just like
time. Yeah.
it's like your
Yeah.
face is going,
Because they always
Sorry,
have like that
that's-
wearable
and then,
thing.
and then it comes to that scene, and the next scene is
Yeah.
the grassy
Yeah.
field when you're
I like
having the
that.
grass is swaying.
And we
over
kind of
the-
like pretend to like fall, and then we get up and we're like, what the fuck? What are we
Yeah,
doing
wait.
here?
Like cold, make
I like that a lot.
one back.
Yeah.
one
Like, who are you?
Oh, I didn't know
What?
that.
Like, I don't remember
Interesting.
you.
Okay.
Or you can remember them, I don't know, but just like you start arguing and then you
No.
like,
Oh,
we're
the
full again, and then you like
no.
fall again, and you get up and
We've
you're like,
done
oh, now where are we? And then but you're starting to like work a little bit better, like vying for position.
Injection.
Told you before?
Um,
I've never
I think it brings it really cohesive and like brings it together.
No.
bless you.
No.
It kind of makes it like a bit of
Yeah,
a story and
I
a
perform
a little
as
bit, maybe.
5 different places
I
around Korea.
I do a
Yeah.
lot of like
Now that we're
painting
talking.
and drawing, so if we all like
Interesting.
wanted to get like a black shirt or something or something, like I could paint stuff on it if we wanted. Or we can just make up our
I've
own
heard of cupping
costumes.
before. I've just never. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Keep it easy.
The blood flow.
So,
Like,
who builds the
really alien or
websites?
something.
Or is that, you're looking at the pictures and stuff like that, the size of the pictures?
Yes.
Is that gonna be a problem when projecting on the screen?
They seemed fine, but I wanted to test them on a bigger screen.
Yeah,
to
just
see
because
what it looked like.
sometimes they'll just lose it. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's another
'Cause we're gonna need-
technical thing.
Pretty high pixelated photos.
Yeah.
Do we want to create a schedule of sort of a little bit of markers, like what do they call it, landmarks, where you want to kind of hit?
Yeah.
By this date, we should have read the script through, or this date, we should be having a rehearsal. By this time, we should be.
Maybe.
I know it's hard to do because we're very busy and doing all sorts of different projects and stuff.
Yeah, maybe because what we were doing last time, and Riley's basically already done, but he can do the dance or something.
Yeah.
Is maybe do we each pick up the thing, and then
Yes.
over the weekend we can be like, okay, this is what I want to happen in our scene
Right.
because it's our, and then we
Okay.
can.
So maybe we should think about, all right, what scene do you want to do? What concepts are you going to incorporate? Maybe you'll write that over the weekend or something. I don't know.
Sure.
Does
So
anyone have any
I know that I'm
preference?
not doing anyone.
Oh right, yes, because there's.
So you guys
Yeah.
have to decide. I guess.
What were you saying, Cal?
Oh, I was just saying I already had some ideas about number 5, like about how the space one should go. But is anyone else attached to the number 5 space one?
No, it's
Because I did kind of rate
It's yours.
some stuff.
Cat,
Okay.
group 5 space.
Nice. Do you want to like run some ideas, or you want to be a
Sure.
surprise?
Well, I was just reading about part of how I was just brainstorming on the script was like reading the actual theories again, like basically reading chapter 1 again, and the high performance group is like all like what makes something efficient versus high performance. High performance is like the individuals like both commitment and trust of each other is really the only thing that makes them stand apart. So I was thinking it could be something about like just like reinforcing like a trust kind of theme, like maybe we're like like in the movie I didn't even watch it, but I think this is what the movie's about. The movie Gravity, where like one person's floating around and then all the rest have to save him. We can have kind of like some kind of like culmination of like saving the other one group member,
Okay, yeah.
Because then also like commitment of like we could be like, well, I've been here all day and all night or whatever. Like just kind of like fleshing out the themes of commitment and
Great.
trust.
That's
Love
awesome.
Yeah.
Should I add
that's
to
wonderful.
that?
Isn't that great?
Sure, yeah, that's really awesome. I think it could be like going through the last wormhole, someone gets like kind of flown off.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, we left him behind. Okay, you do
Quick,
this. And
go into
someone like,
action, spring into action.
yeah, and then we're
everyone
all
goes to
just
their
like
thing.
working together and they get it back and they're like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Little Star Wars music
It's like
playing
a nice
in the background.
yeah.
I love that.
That's
Yeah.
I
great.
think that's a
Oh,
great
that's easy.
idea.
And then keep it that simple, almost
Yeah.
a very simple idea. That's so nice to flesh that out. Right?
Mhm,
Just
yeah.
now you've got that experience, and then
Yeah.
I guess bringing your own ideas and
Yeah.
experiences that you've had here.
Mhm. Okay, so 4 and 5. Anyone who got English? Do you guys?
The dawn of time.
I'm so hard. What do you guys want to do? Courtney, did you already? I can't remember if
I
you
don't really
already.
have a preference. I think the Wild West is kind of interesting. I
Okay.
watch a lot of Westworld. Have you guys?
Ooh,
Oh, then you're right in.
Cool.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's yours.
That's
It's
it.
so good. It's so good. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
Courtney's doing the Wild
Are you
West.
with Kay? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're also incorporating, because there are two effective groups, right? One talks about leadership and one talks about communication.
I don't know if it's like a bank heist kind of scene, and wireless kind of thing, right? That's where we're kind of going with.
If you want to
if
switch it,
you
you're
wanna switch it
welcome
around
to.
and
Oh,
rewrite
she's
that.
gonna be
And
thinking
just
about
like,
Wild
if you
West.
think
Once you
something
get
else
access
works
to
with
the
the storyline
script,
better.
It's
you
working.
can rewrite as you
Courtney?
wish. Like, and just if you're gonna dialogue me,
And then you've
like,
got
give me dialogue.
the
like,
dance one.
Not the greatest. I've had
That's
some
your
ideas.
thing.
I've been talking.
Cat's
to
gonna be
how
doing
I
space.
express this in the script.
Okay, then, so do you wanna just, you wanna maybe work with me, and then we'll write, we'll sit
No, it
down
doesn't
and
have to
I'll
be. It
figure out
just
how
has
to
to
word
be
it.
full dance.
Yeah, and
That kind of
then
like to say it, and then I'll
Yeah.
reword that. Okay.
One more idea. Sorry, I keep.
No, go for it.
Riley,
Yeah.
with your dance thing, it could be that we go through the wormhole from the Wild West, and we're like, and we land, and then on the screen, it's as if we're on a big stage, and we're supposed to perform, and we're like, oh, what do we do? Like, we don't know what to do, and Riley's like, this is my time, and then it's like, follow my lead,
And then all of a sudden you're the choreo.
and then we
dance
start
teacher.
dancing, and then it's,
Well, this is a good idea, but how about? But what's the Genghis thing?
pardon?
How your idea related to the Genghis?
Oh, to the game. You can change it however you want.
But you like that gang idea, do you? Or that sort of idea?
Well, this
Because
dance
then
is kind of like.
that inspired you to see that video, and then that dance, and then moving with that gangs coming together.
Okay, so we could wormhole into like an alleyway where someone's challenging us or something.
Did I say there's those dance-off movies where they're having conflict but they're against violence and how they sort out their conflict is having a dance battle?
Yeah.
You could do something along those lines, but it's totally up to you. Working it
Things to
in.
think about.
Mm-hmm.
But I really should know what's the stage story will happen, and then I should
Yeah, maybe.
decide.
Exactly.
what happens.
Yeah, read as much as you can about it and learn about the topics and ideas. But bringing your own experience as well, like how has this process been for you? And like you were talking about at first, maybe you didn't want to talk, and then now you're going to take over. This whole scene is yours. So you're the director now. You take over.
Shiny is the star. You know what?
So then it's just left. Which one's left?
50,000 and Donna Time. Do you have a preference?
I don't care at all, no. I have ideas for both, so it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
All right. You're hired. In your opinion, do you have stronger ideas for anyone in particular?
I think I have stronger ideas for number 2, but I don't care.
All right.
Okay. I can do number 1.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, sure. I'll try and think of like
Really sure.
we'll all be arguing and someone's trying to take leadership.
I mean, yeah, it can be anything like that. I mean,
Just not having a good
if you
time.
want to rewrite the scene, like if you want it to come out a different way, or not crawling out of the ocean into coming onto dry land, you got to rewrite what I say.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that if you're going to rewrite the scene. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I think we're up. Every time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's great.
we're doing well.
Anything else to add? So far, we have a lot to think about, and
Yeah.
things are going to start to evolve. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Or fun, or
Everyone feel good?
Yeah. I'll try to go to the dollar store or something this weekend, and I'll send you guys pictures if I find any like alien kind of stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. Awesome. Okay.
So things to think about if we can get the costuming for me, what that might look like.
Yeah.
Music, sound effects, pictures, ideas for the background. Bring you're an artist, maybe you paint a picture, we take a photograph and put that on the backdrop as the scene if you wanted to incorporate some of your artwork, but do you have time?
Probably not.
Using already stock photographs is probably better, right?
Maybe easier to get it up there and project it.
But did you want to use videos instead? Like,
Oh,
I think
yeah,
we need to
instead of-
decide if we want to do photos or videos,
Yeah.
and then we can start heading in either direction. What
It just not up to me. I think videos could be fun.
Yeah, it's
At
easy.
least
It's
if we
just
do
the
like the
same
wormhole
thing.
video,
Yeah.
that
It's
could
the
be
same
fun.
thing, right?
Oh, for sure. I think
think
that's
that would be
awesome.
really
I'm gonna have to
cool.
think about how to design that and how to make that happen.
Yeah.
Like,
Or even just like, click to the next video and it's a wormhole.
It was like something from Star Trek or something like that. But I want to get your faces in there, like.
Oh, like actually on the screen?
Going through it or something like that, or just.
That could be difficult.
Or just like, you know, have you seen that effect where you see a picture of a group of people like this and it just goes, and it just
And it
falls
spins,
and it goes into into nothing. So,
I love it.
but I mean, I need time to sort of do that. So make sure you incorporate a little bit of preparing that type of movie and a weekend to do it. So I need to collect as many elements as you can bring. So don't be shy of just including elements, pictures, video, or anything you want, and then I'll start to build. And then the timing of it, hopefully I can start-stop moments that we're not dependent upon running to time and sort of matching, because there's going to be maybe time where you blank out or you improvise or you forget what you're going to say. And I think we should have some scripts in our hands or something, or just there, cue cards or some kind of thing. You shouldn't have to memorize the script.
Yeah.
Something you can just read off and say is,
Yeah.
you don't have to act it or anything, you can just say, if that's how you've written it. All right, so we need to send the link to all y'all so you can edit the thing, start editing that.
Cool, and I'll upload the videos.
Oh, yes, do too.
And send the
Anything
link.
else that we did? Good job.
You good?
Yeah, well done with Riley bringing those great ideas. And Kat, like, this
See,
is
that's
awesome.
a good thing.
What time is it now?
It's
So right-
12:23.
Oh, perfect. We're over time.
Yeah, Drew, are you feeling better? Because you were
Yes.
worried.
I have